All right, God Chat Live. We are running a little behind. Normally we do this at 8, but tonight we slipped into 8:30, and now I have to get an invite over to Diana. So, how are y'all? God bless you. Thank you for coming tonight. Uh, Let me just get this invite sent, and boom, it's off. Okay. Oh, what a week! What a week, huh? I don't know how everybody else is doing. Diana should be here any second, so I won't have to try to carry this on my own. But then again, I'm not carrying it on my own, am I? The Lord is with us. It was a great 4th of July. Didn't do much. It was rainy, but we had family together. And really, that's important. Achoo! Excuse me, had to sneeze. Oh, I think I hit the wrong button. I wanted to mute that, but instead I muted the video. All right. So, anyways, we are waiting on Diana. Welcome to viewers that are jumping on. Let me see. My eyes are nearly blind. Rick, yo, bro. And Terry, hey, hey. All right, let me copy this to clipboard because I want to talk about something tonight. You guys are more than welcome. Diana's still not here. She's late, but that's kind of my fault because I told her I wasn't sure I was going to do this, and she thought I said I wasn't gonna, but I was gonna. I've just been creating, and I know that sounds like a cop out, but if you guys know anything about the gel, the juice, when it's flowing, and you just keep going and going. So all weekend I've been gearing up to draw Cluster Fudge Part 2, which is going to be interesting to say the least, but we will get through that. Let's see. For starters, Isaiah 12:4. Let's check that out. Kind of like the Bible Gateway handy verse of the night, sitting right there. Uh, in that day you will say, praise to the Lord, proclaim his name, make known among the nations what he has done, and proclaim that his name is exalted. Hallelujah. And Diana's still not here. I bet you she hasn't gotten the invite. She's probably sitting there looking at her Twitter, even though I sent it to Hero Shack. Let's see. I am going to try her Twitter now. Twitter is dangerous. She might have gotten like hung up on Twitter, you know. Oh, and I forgot to do this number 2. Chat's open. I'm inviting Lorenzo. He says I never invite him. I just put the StreamYard in there. Let's see. So I'm not looking at the chat right now, guys. I'm sending invites again to Diana. Okay, we'll try that. You know, I should check and make sure. Oh, she's in the back room.
Hi.
How long have you been there?
Oh, a few minutes. It's okay. It's all right. It's all good. I'm like a little bit of a mess here. Sorry, guys. Hello, hello. You can't hear
I can
me?
hear you, but it's me. It's my speaker.
Okay, can you hear me now better?
Well, it's not your fault. I have to connect my speaker. My speaker is resisting. There we go. It's coming. It's Bluetooth, so it disconnects.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. I can hear you now, babe.
Cool.
So in the description, did you happen to read what I put in the description for the chat tonight?
I did not. No.
I've been thinking, you know, what we got wrong about peace, love, and unity. You know, like as a society.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I did see something, but I didn't. I was too busy trying to log on to pay any mind to it. I mean, that sounds terrible.
Well, it's been something on my mind all day, but I haven't done any research. I wanted to come to it clean, without, you know, a bunch of study behind it. Hang on, we got some chatter going on here. Let's see.
Okay.
Hopefully, it won't be cluster fudge to get through. To be honest, that book is going to be tough to get through. The first one was too, but I'm going to dedicate a lot of time to the artwork and try to lift it up so that the first part looks silly compared to the second. That's my goal. Yes, he did indeed, Terry. He did give us the passion. She is here. Yes, she is. Hi.
Ta-da! Hi.
So, like, hang on, let me see if I can find a scripture on it. Diana, give a little speech here for a second.
Happy belated 4th of July to everybody. I hope you guys had a wonderful weekend. He wants me to give a speech or just like chit chat?
Chit chat for a second.
Oh, I can chit chat for a second. I spent the entire weekend pretty much hanging out. And what joke? What joke did Chris miss? He always misses a joke. What happened? I'm looking to see if I can read it. Anyway, so we hung
Oh no,
out. We had
I think I
fun.
got it, but I just didn't laugh. I'm sorry. Go on, honey.
The
Oh,
joke
I'm
about
sorry.
cluster fudge? The cluster fudge joke?
Yes, I caught that. It was like a pun.
Yes, it was funny. Hope
It
it's not a
was.
cluster fudge. Ha ha ha.
Yeah.
Very funny, Rick. I love it.
Good evening, Terry. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, I was about to say you missed the joke that Rick put out there. He was talking about whatever topic you wanted to discuss.
Yeah, well, I've been thinking about it because we live in this society where we are being told literally accept and love everybody. And yet there is a line that God draws. And it doesn't mean that we go out and hate people, but there's like a separation between light and dark, between salt water and fresh water, between the sheep and the goats. And I'm not saying we should start pointing fingers and claiming who's goats, but we need to be aware that there are goats out there. And that's, of course, a metaphor referring back to the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to be on the sheep side. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
When the angels come down to divide the animals, or however you want to take that metaphor,
Right.
I want to be on the good side. And I'm afraid that we are in
Me
a
too.
society right now where we're confusing acceptance of a person for being a person with acceptance of all sorts of other things that have no business being in the Christian lifestyle.
Mm.
And that, again, that doesn't mean we go out persecuting people.
Right.
But at the same time, we run a big danger when we just blindly accept everything. What's up, Rick? Welcome to the show.
Hello, hello.
Hello, hello.
Hello, hello. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I can hear you.
Okay.
How's it going, man?
Good. I read Cyclopean over the weekend.
Ooh, I hope you liked it.
Yeah, I plan on, or did I read it before the weekend? I read it like almost as soon as I got it. I read part of it, then I had to do something, and I came back and read the rest of it.
Well, I'm supremely excited because
I hope you liked it.
Yeah, I do too.
Oh yeah, I did. I plan on doing a review for it.
Oh, cool.
Within the next week or so.
That would be
so
awesome.
You know, I never watch reviews till they're done. It was funny because Critical Blast,
yeah,
I guess, was kind of offering, like, if I want to do a show next time they review a book, or was it Well Read? One of them did that, right?
Right.
I think it was Well Read.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't want to be there because I don't want to influence the person giving the critique. Because you know how sometimes if you've had, like, okay, a good example is if you've had dinner over someone's house, if the person who cooked the dinner is sitting there, you're more likely to go, yeah, it was pretty good, than if the person's like, not there after you've had dinner and you're talking to your friend and you're like, man, I'm sorry, I just didn't like it. I'm not much of a I don't know, Chinese food eater or whatever it is that they made,
No, but you've tried to brave it before. That's so funny.
Anyway.
Sorry.
So what do we do with this? We're faced in a society where I was thinking about this because the trans thing is really becoming a huge issue, and it really shouldn't be. It's just a matter of accepting people for being people. And I don't care if you want to dress up like a woman. I don't care if you're going to cut off everything or whatever's going to happen. All of that seems to be divisive. Like, if you're a trans man and you're going to call yourself a woman, then just call yourself a woman. And then if it comes out later, you can have a conversation with it. Or if you want to talk to your friend about it, go ahead. But
Right.
wearing it
Well-
like a tag just makes things more tense.
Yeah. What I'd say for sure is we do have to love everybody no matter what. We have to be willing to show that love. Now, how that is necessarily manifested can be different in each case, because God
Well,
loves.
no, I can tell you how it should be because I've seen
Yeah.
it demonstrated. Like
Yeah,
you just embrace those people when they're in
Yeah.
your vicinity. You love them, you support
Yeah.
them. But what you're careful not to do, or what we need to be careful not to do, perhaps this is my thought, is we need to be careful not to start doing things that we wouldn't do otherwise. For example, if an angel came down and took a poll right now, and the angel asked certain things, there would be certain answers for sure. Like, okay, do you think marital or premarital sex is wrong? Of course I do. Yeah, sure. I mean, people do it, but yeah, I think it's wrong. Do you think abortion is wrong? Of course I do. I think it's wrong. Do you think all the LGBT stuff is wrong? In my heart of hearts, yeah, but I don't stand in anybody's way of doing any of those things because that's not what we're here for. We're not here to judge.
Yeah.
But on the other hand,
Well, we
also
are
can't
here to
forget-
we are here to judge actions. We can judge whether the actions are right or wrong. We can
right.
judge the person themselves is different. Christ doesn't want us
True.
to judge the person. He wants us to treat them like with love, like you see all throughout the Gospels. No matter who came to him, he showed love. Although he did tell them when they were wrong.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's part of loving somebody is telling them that they're wrong.
And that's the hardest part, or at least I've even gone so far as to not tell them they're wrong, but tell them I disagree.
Mhm.
And that can be too divisive to them. That drives them crazy, and it shouldn't, because we all agree to disagree on certain things at some point
So
in
great,
life.
counsel.
But yeah,
I'll be right back. I gotta help my mom find your channel on
10-4.
her.
Okay. Hey,
Perfect.
Lorenzo. That sounds
Lorenzo's
good.
here?
Rick, it's good to help your mom.
I agree with you.
Yeah. But you have to remember one other thing though. We have a
Oh,
lot
look,
of people.
Lunga's here too. So
No,
Terry, I couldn't hear you.
No, as I was saying, there's a lot of people who can't take criticism or anybody disagreeing with them.
Well, and there's another aspect to that concerns me, because we've created a generation of people who are given participation trophies and always told they could be anything they wanted to be if they just wanted to be hard enough.
Right.
And as cool as that sounds, the reality is that's not always true.
Right.
I wanted to be a center for the Boston Celtics. I wanted to be Robert Parrish for the new, for the Celtics, and I will never be that. No
No.
matter how bad I want to be. And well, you could have become this or that. It maybe, but that's not how it works.
True.
No.
I don't have any basketball skills. The only thing I was good at was, intentional fouls. So I mean, it's like you can't be anything you want to be. There are limitations. What
Right.
you can be is the best you can be. That's what we should tell kids. But instead, it becomes this thing where there's no respect for law, because if you wanted it bad enough, if you were mad enough, then it's justified. And that's not really their fault. We've taught them that through countless movies that rely on people breaking the rules to save the day. And it's real cute when it's done in Hollywood, but when
Yeah.
it's done in real life, people get hurt.
True.
And I'm not trying to be a prude, but I was thinking about God Chat earlier today, and this was one thing that I just kept thinking about. I'm like, well, part of the problem is we're too concerned with being overly accepting without understanding the barrier that has to exist between a follower of Christ and just outright sin. And that, like I said, that doesn't, Jesus ate with sinners. I'm not talking about, okay, let's go out and get a lynch mob. Nothing of the sort. But I do think we have to do something about what we're, projecting. There's no real, what's the word I'm looking for? There's no real resistance to this stuff right now. It's just, it's ungodly stuff, and we're just told to eat it. And now I've babbled very long.
But you said in your opening, statement how we need to love everybody, and like you were talking about, like, even though you don't necessarily agree with their values or with their lifestyle choices, we're still commanded to love them.
Yeah.
But what does that look like? You know what I mean?
Well, obviously, for instance, if they're hungry, you feed them. If they're naked, you clothe them. If they need shelter, you should be helping them find shelter, if not providing it.
True.
But those are heavy too, because remember so we did a street ministry, and we learned real quick that there's a big difference between helping people and people who, God, I don't want to say this judgmentally, but sometimes the priorities are different.
Right.
That's probably the best way to say it.
Yeah, that's a good way to say it.
Diana and I were like, no, we've got to help these people do this or that. And other people would be like, well, we've got to pray on it. And I get that, but I didn't really get it that much. I used to always get really upset about it.
Get that, but I didn't get it.
Yeah.
Well, I get it in the fact, yeah, maybe you need to pray for something specific, but to do, but at this point, they need a meal, so let's give them a sandwich.
Right.
Yeah.
And you know what? To be fair, not everybody was resistant, but I think we've all done it, and we've probably all received it before. There, that famous, let me pray on it. Hey, we've got a few people to say hello to that I'm really not doing a good job with the chat. Let's see, we got Timothy Olson. Welcome, Timothy. Yeah, I don't know how to accept everyone too. I do know how to love people, but acceptance is that real struggle. King's Kid. Hi, all.
King's Kid. That is my mom.
Oh, no wonder. Okay, cool.
I love it.
Hey, what up, Rick's mom? Yeah, Timothy knew that too. So, I mean, it's like, it just gets very confusing. Like I heard a Christian girl who made a Twitch video talking about, loving this and loving that. But I didn't think she understood the difference between loving the person or loving the sinner and not the sin. That's a cliche that we all hear, but it's so on head. Maybe that's why we all make fun of it,
Yeah.
Well, maybe we don't make fun of it, but it's not taken very seriously.
And maybe part of living it is the second part of your thing about the peace. If possible, live at peace with all men.
Right.
Not getting in their face about what they're doing wrong. They're part of the world. What do you expect the world to live like? The world's going to live in sin.
Yep, that's a great point. It's kind of like going into a plumber's convention and expecting them to be electricians. If they don't have the Lord, they're not going to be saints, because the people with the Lord aren't. So you got to expect. Yeah, you're right about that. It's just knowing the difference between. It's like when you have a kid, and the kid does something wrong. You still love the kid, but there is a time where you have to say, okay, kid, you're in a little bit of trouble right now. You're grounded, That's the honest thing, I think, like you were saying. This is honest. At times. Yeah, very much so. So now I feel like I've gotten a lot off my shoulders. How about anybody else?
And like I was saying somewhat earlier, it's got to be a little different for each person too, because each person's different, and showing love to each person can be different. I'm not sure whether you guys heard of the Love Languages by Gary Smalley.
No, I've
But
never heard of it. But there are things like you're saying right there. For instance, there can be times when it's more loving to turn someone down and not help them.
yeah,
And that's usually something that the Holy Spirit has led me to. There have been a couple of people who were not taking advantage, but it was becoming a crutch to help them,
Right.
yeah.
instead of them helping themselves, which
And
in any
sometimes you
ministry,
be
the goal should be to nurture people so they can do things on their own. And
so,
sometimes it doesn't become that.
sometimes we become enablers without
Right.
trying.
It's a very
Yeah,
fine line to
That's
walk.
exactly what I'm trying to say, Rick. You hit that right on the head. Yep.
Yeah. But it's a very fine line to walk that when you're out on the streets and you're dealing with people and you don't know their full histories. You're just seeing them for where they are right there in the moment. And I think Chris and when we met them right there in the moment, I think things went really well.
Well,
I
that's
think
when
it's
you treat it
when
like triage. Yeah, it's like,
exactly.
okay, let's take care of the immediate, and
Right.
then find out why you're homeless or why you're struggling to eat, or how we can help you. And
Right.
sometimes we weren't able to, other times we were. And it was really, in those cases, it was up to God.
Mm-hmm.
Like I would tell people, I will put the word out and see what God provides. And
Yeah.
sometimes he would provide big, and other times nothing would happen.
Mm-hmm.
And I would take that to be a sign from God.
Right.
Yeah, because God
'Cause,
usually knows what they need, what they want, what they'll accept. Some of these people on the street,
Mhm.
they want food, but other than that, they don't want anything else. I'm
Right.
just using that as a quick analogy.
No, but it's true. It's very true. And that's some of the stuff that we kind of hit up against. But then we started helping people with different things like food, like groceries and stuff like that. And we put that up on our website, and that was fine. And it was a blessing to do. And it's still no matter what, even the repeat people, it still was a blessing because I know God is going to use that for his glory. Even though in our human, mind and what we could see, it seemed like, that they were maybe quote unquote abusing the situation. But God had a plan for all that. I mean, we no longer are there. He moved us out of that ministry. And that's okay. But I know that I learned a lot. And I was
Hey,
very
honey,
blessed through the whole thing. Yes, I'm sorry.
did you notice that someone named Max Lee has joined the chat?
Yes, it is.
Yes, I know
Tim.
who that. Yeah,
Hello,
I was
Mac.
gonna say it's Timothy from the chat, Timothy Olson.
Ironically,
Hey,
If I can take my hand off the move button,
Sorry, guys. I'll mute.
I didn't recognize you as I didn't know who you were, Max.
oh
So,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
I got
Well,
the hand on the
The,
remove button. I'm like,
the story about it is it was my backup account because I did have a Facebook account that Facebook decided one day just to up and totally nuke.
oh man.
And so I made up a backup account, and I forgot the password to my backup account. So I have this one right here.
Well, welcome aboard and welcome to God Chat.
Yeah, this is cool. I had a question that was not answered because you were talking about Hollywood movies and how they had to break the rules.
Yeah.
What did heroes do before Hollywood movies? Because there's different, like it goes all the way back to Greek storytelling where a hero would like learn something from an elder, and then either the elder would die or move or go away, and then the hero would have to use what he learned or such.
And I'm not even sure how to answer that because I'm sure there are stories where heroes persevere learning and becoming,
Right.
the hero's journey. But even in mythology and stuff, you still have, even in the Bible, there's still deception that brings success, and it's wrong, but yet it happens. The guy with the fur in his hands from the Old Testament.
Jacob. Jacob
Yes,
and
thank
Esau.
you. We were talking about him last week, I think.
Yeah.
Well, is it Jacob
That
and
was
Esau or Isaac? No,
yeah. I think you're on
They
it.
was like,
Yeah, yeah, it
Yeah,
was
so I mean,
Jacob and Esau with their father Isaac.
but like
Because their father,
today in the world today, a lot of times when you see or hear somebody did something really violent or wrong or inappropriate, usually the defense starts off with, well, I did it because I was upset because what they did was wrong. And it's like, no, being upset is not a good enough reason to go
Oh,
down on people, you know?
that's a first world thing. I call that passing the buck or passing the blame. It's like it's not my fault. It's someone else's fault.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that never flies with me. I'm always like, no, you have to be responsible for what you did.
Yeah,
You may
it's
have a
real.
reason, but that's not the reason that I was upset might be because of something you did, but that doesn't excuse what I did.
It's Rick's fault that poke fun at Canada.
Yeah. See, Rick triggered him, so therefore
It's,
it's his fault.
it's all Rick's fault.
You just see him and you start to hate Canada.
By
Just
the way,
kidding.
welcome
Well,
to
I just-
Just
I
kidding.
just saw yet another clip about the Canadians burning down the White House back in the day.
My goodness.
Was
Yeah,
that
Rick
Rick?
and his mom went
Rick
into the. I can't remember if there was the War of 1812 or what. But they actually educated me on that war. I mean, I had heard a little bit
There,
about it in
there
school,
are
but-
actually still bullets in some of the White House walls from that war too.
Yeah, somebody was showing off this part where it was like scorched. Yeah, first they ate dinner there. And then they
Oh my
it's like
yeah,
I mean, it's pretty
as we told Lorenzo, be thankful the Canadians burnt it down. Otherwise, it wouldn't be the White House; it'd be the Pink House.
well they actually
Oh, then you did us a favor.
they actually it was actually the capital was actually taken over by would British Canadian
British.
citizens.
The
I mean,
Canadian-
it was before it was Canada was its own country, I think, but it was,
Yeah,
People
I think we still
from
had
with
upper lower
nowadays-
Canada.
and I saw that they had invaded, the people from your region had actually invaded northern Michigan, where I live. I didn't realize that.
Canada is a lot like England's abroad. They only do it's only there for support.
Well, I know that this region I live in, Grand Traverse, and I've talked about in the past, so I've already doxed myself. I've doxed my city before, but this was a French region for a while. It was part of, I don't know if it was part of New France or
I kid the Canadians.
it was a French. It was a French colony. There's people here who it's Catholics who eat beaver during Lent because of a ruling that a Quebec bishop said it was okay to eat like a beaver and a muskrat.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now I want to know is Lorenzo, how does this get back to living at peace?
I have no
All that-
idea. Sorry.
Yeah,
once again,
sorry.
Joe, really.
I contributed
So-
to that wayward conversation. My bad.
I was thinking of these e-beggars though I think are far worse than somebody just asking for. And I'm sorry, I don't mean any of you guys on the panel who are actually
So on with the
creating books and
conversation, shall
actually
we?
delivering on them. But there's some people with like 6 late. There's one creator, I won't say his name.
Hey,
He's supposedly got
Jazz
6 late books, and he's launching yet another campaign. You know,
Jazzy Crab.
well, hey, Jazz Crab.
Hey, Jeff,
You know, and it's like, so a lot of times the temptation is to focus on somebody on the street who might be, maybe somebody could make, there could be some people who make quite a bit of money, panhandling or whatever. Who knows? But there's some people who are like making hundreds of thousands of dollars off of, like say comic book campaigns that they don't deliver on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
that's
crazy.
that's another kind of that's like a bigger grift, I think.
Right.
or
it
can
seems
be.
like the people who back them, the majority of them accept it. So there's
Yeah, that's true. If people don't really believe that they're going to get their books on time and they're okay with that, and maybe it's like funding those guys' YouTube careers or whatever, then if they enjoy those guys' YouTube channels and they're just, instead of giving super chats, they're donating to a book that is going to take
for
forever
me,
to come out.
me personally, when I split my Twitter account, Hero Shack, and opened up my own personal one,
Yeah.
I didn't actually open up a personal one. I had always had it sitting there. I forgot about it.
Oh.
And I opened it, and I was still subscribed to all sorts of people that I've not subscribed to on Hero Shack. And one of which was Ethan. And I concluded, just kind of in my heart and spirit, kind of in the vein of, so long as it depends on me, let there be peace. And I found myself in a conversation where I was like, you know what? Ethan's making tons of money. He's got a fan base that doesn't seem to care. So I don't care anymore. I'm like, whatever.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, it wasn't Ethan. It's one of his friends I'm talking about, but not Ethan. I don't even know.
You mean like not a name that rhymes with like Mick Byer?
I'm talking about the creator with 6 late books. I mean, Cyberfrog.
Oh my God.
Cyberfrog is
Where?
late, but I'm not sure how many campaigns Ethan currently has. But I'm talking about some other creator who's his friend with like 6 late books.
Wow.
Actually, I don't think that person has. 6
I would
late
say living in peace would not necessarily mean just being peaceful, but also letting go of what you can't change.
Right.
Yeah. Well, that's why I'm not even mentioning the creator's name. It's like there's really, I mean, if these guys are just mainly selling books to the same people over and over again and if they're happy with how they're investing their money, I guess that's their decision. My only thing was before, when people didn't know that these guys, but like when CG first started and people didn't, or when Ethan first joined CG, I mean, because CG was around before him.
Well, and any crowdfunder could do that to anybody at any time, I suppose. But that's why your rep is going to stick.
Yeah, well, there's the thing is, for that, for us small timers, we can't afford not to do something like that because, we have a small fan base, and if we want to grow a bigger one, we need to be more reliable if we want to get a bigger fan base.
Right.
This is no slam on. If somebody's got like one campaign and they're late on it and they couldn't help it, that's fine. I'm just saying when people create campaign after campaign after campaign, I'm just not going to enable them. Was my only point. It wasn't to say these are evil people or anything. It's not.
Right. Well,
my only point was that
Fulfillment is one of the few places that the really, really, really great comic talents in indie comics, that's one of the few places they leave themselves exposed for smaller guys like us to kind of show and shine, so in a way it's a blessing for us little guys, because it gives us an opportunity to do something positive.
And then if we can get our books out a little create more books in a more timely fashion too, we're having more campaigns, getting more money, so
I know we've talked before how you weren't able to free up some funds before to get your book printed, and then you ended up getting help with that, and then your book got printed. There's going to be snags like that. I expect that with crowdfunding.
Yeah.
Right.
But the thing is, I let all my people know, and I like Lorenzo said, I got it funded, or I got the money, and then I sent it.
Oh yeah, you had that incredibly weird Canadian thing happen with the money, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I raised in America. I raised in American funds. Other Canadians had before and got the money, no problem. I had a friend who had done it, and I got the same type of bank account at the same bank, everything, and still didn't work out. But another friend of mine from the U.S. Got it deposited in his bank account in the U.S. and then put it PayPal the money to me. So.
That's nice that worked out. Yeah, it's and now some creators if they've got enough money though, eventually they might start. As some creators like Doug Ernst, I think he's just selling his book straight off the website, but there's still kind of a disadvantage to that as far as you might not bring new people in. As easily that way as if people go on, say, Indiegogo or Kickstarter, and they might be looking for a comic book and not know exactly which one, or they might be looking at a different comic book.
Yeah, you got to find a way to get your name out there.
Yeah. I mean, Doug is, I think, well enough known that he can go and he has enough money that he can go and make the book ahead of time and then just sell it on his own site, which.
Yeah,
Do
but
you find
therein lies a question. He's big enough. He's got his own YouTube channel. He can just get in new customers through YouTube, or maybe going on other people's shows or whatever, promoting a little bit of him, and that he's got a book. Books. Just show it off, and then you just go to my website and get it. That's what I sort of plan to do eventually. I overprint it, and I'm selling my book off my site.
Yeah, that's what some people do.
Yeah.
And
I want to sell my book in laundromats all over America.
Hey,
I think
Chris.
it's an untapped market.
Are you planning on laundering the money?
Oh, I just want to keep
Christopher.
it clean. Yes, love.
I just wanted to let you know that Gary Henderson is listening to us via Facebook. He just
Hey, yeah, I know. I've
messaged
been
me.
seeing the messages, but I haven't been able to respond yet.
And
very cool.
Do
Yes.
you find that the people we're relying too much on crowdfunding, and we should use it more like a tool instead of a marketing?
I don't know, because I'm using it strictly for marketing, really. A crowdfunding campaign builds interest, and it does something to people where they want to back, what they want to back. Obviously, that's part of the power with the bigger guys that we were just talking about who are late. But they generate interest and people back them primarily based on who they are, and then I think on the IPs and the properties quality. But a lot of it has to do with that, that personality.
Yeah.
I mean, I use it for marketing, but
and the talent.
Yeah.
Don't forget the talent.
It's also a tool that, you go out there and you market yourself in all these different shows or whatever. Let people that or that you can get to know. That's your marketing aspect. But at the same time, it's a tool for the people on, say, that's Indiegogo that's just doing a search that finds you. It's a tool that way.
right.
And sort of, I guess, marketing. Or,
Tim and, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, Lorenzo.
So Tim and Mark do both. They'll go and do a Kickstarter. They'll do an Indiegogo, and then I think they sell a version of their book on a website. It might not have some extra stuff that you get from a crowdfunded campaign, but
Right. I think they do.
but they've got maybe a couple extra pages or a few extra pages or some sort of supplemental material. I think they typically will have when they crowdfund their book.
Like with my campaign, for my book, you got the book and you got, the different, trading cards and all that. A few different things like that you got. But, if you buy the book off my site, you don't get any trading cards. I had a contest when I did my last a fan art versions, and a bunch of people on the web their own version of the Canadian Shield, powers, everything, backstory. You make it up. Whoever wins, I'm going to print their printed art, and it comes free with all the, anybody who backed a physical copy.
Mm-hmm.
So, it was a way to engage, and it was a freebie to everybody.
Right.
for my
Oh,
next
that's
one.
cool. Yeah.
Well, and that way they feel like they're involved, and especially somebody gets to see their stuff in print, too. For my
By
next
the way,
one, I'm not sure what you.
It sounds like that
Go ahead,
thing we did.
Lorenzo.
Oh,
Terry, I'll let Terry speak. He hasn't spoken in a while.
no, no, it's like that fan I did thing we did for Manny when each of us drawing our own versions of Skunk Girl.
Yeah, Manny had
Yeah.
a really good, really cool. He is really good at marketing. It's a shame that he's kind of scaled back from
I know,
YouTubing and making comics.
I know.
Who is Manny?
Good Dog Press.
He has
Okay.
a Skunk Girl with his character. One of,
Oh, all right,
Yeah,
all right.
yeah.
yeah, he had some other books that he was going to make first, and then all of a sudden Marvel comes out with what was it? What was their character
Squirrel
named?
Girl.
Squirrel Girl. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
And,
it
and,
wasn't
and he
so.
was like, "Oh yeah, this would be the perfect time to."
Right.
And his, oh man, his character, Skunk Girl, man, she was a pretty intense character too.
A little different than Squirrel Girl.
Yeah, quite different, and yeah.
Let's put it this way. She was the bad girl going good.
Yeah, he was afraid that he'd get some sort of flack when he came out with his book,
Right.
but I don't think he really. I didn't hear about him receiving any. Maybe he
Well,
did.
No, he didn't. He
She didn't
he
give me
did,
flack about it.
he didn't get it that popularized to get enough flack about it.
Yeah, because he thought it was. I think he thought that he was going to get flack from all sorts of sides of the political, both sides of the political spectrum, or something. I didn't quite get it because, but I guess there was kind of a twist in the story. So
Mhm.
Well, in this day and age, if you get on the wrong, it's so polarizing that if you get on the wrong side, you could lose everything. It's just too dangerous.
or you could gain everything like if you're like these big name guys.
That's
These
true.
guys, some of these big name guys, they're able to
As I
market their
said,
books on.
Hey, Diana,
Hey, what?
I don't have my glasses on. Could you read that?
Yes, as a matter of fact, I would love to read it. First Chronicles 16:34. Give thanks to the Lord, for he is good, his love endures forever. I just want to put that out there because it is a God chat, and I think that he should be part of it. And that was my part.
That was sweet, honey.
Thank you. Continue.
Yeah, that was good.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
It is.
Yeah.
'Cause
So
he's-
go ahead.
I was just going to say, because he is so good, and that, here we are, independent creators trying to make a go of it. And it's a big ocean out there. There's so many independent creators. It can become very overwhelming. And I think that, I personally am not a creator, but I'm married to one. I look at it and I get overwhelmed just for you guys going, because there's so much talent out there. When I look at Twitter, or if I just Google like art, it's incredible. And it can be, I think it would be, if it was me, I would be overwhelmed rather quickly looking at other people's artwork and trying not to compare, but I would, because that's just who I am. Knowing that
You gotta be
God
careful
is
not to let
good.
yourself get down. You got to always
Yeah.
remember, just like you said, God is good. You gotta
Because
remember
God is
that.
God is my starting point for anything. And like when I stray too far and like my days get really busy and I get super caught up and I'm like, oh, I haven't even thought of him. Oh my gosh, I feel so bad. I feel bad. And then I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry, I forgot, maybe it's just me. I'm talking to all men again. Where are the women in this chat? Why are there don't you guys know any females that would love to join us so I could be balanced here? I'm all alone.
I know.
Well,
There
there were quite a few women, and
Yeah,
I
it's a
mean,
full
but then
sausage
the
fest.
people started drawing like cartoon dildos on their foreheads and stuff, and a lot of them
Well,
got
yeah, that's kind of not me.
kind of chased out
Yeah.
of. Well, I guess they got felt kind of chased out of the main Comics Gate, but then again, Chris doesn't identify as Comics Gate, right?
No, I don't
I
even know
mean,
what comic skate is.
I don't. I'm not sure what it is. It's either something I support or I don't support, depending on how somebody defines it. I've been called both Comics Gate and anti CG.
Well, like,
But you know,
Well,
what
guy,
does the
you
gate?
know,
What does the gate do? I don't understand. Does it hold water back? Does it keep criminals out?
well, Diana,
It's-
there is my
Yes.
mom in the chat.
It's
Although she's
based.
what?
not saying that.
It's
Oh
based.
yes, King's Kid is in the
uh,
chat. She's so quiet though.
It's
I need some
basically
female support.
it's basically backlash from what Marvel and DC are doing, which is basically spitting at the fans.
Yeah, yeah.
unfortunately, some of the bigger named CG guys do that as well.
I would agree that sometimes I can't tell the difference.
Yeah. But the positive thing though is that even like I started watching say EVS, and then all of a sudden one day I saw Manny's channel pop up as a recommendation, and then from there I ended up finding out about Rick and Terry, and then through and then I don't, and then well. Tim, I found out about you through Rick. And gosh, I have no idea how I found out about Chris. I think you've just been posting.
Yeah, we just kind
Let
of.
me apologize on behalf of Rick.
Yeah, I'm not sure. All of a sudden, it was just like Lorenzo was there, and it was cool.
Yeah, it's weird because you had been posting. I've seen old where you were in the same thread as I was in, and you and I were like saying similar things. I mean, we were like, I think we were like arguing or debating with some of the same people. Yet I don't really remember.
I was instantly having issues with people that I should have just ignored, but like,
But I don't. Yeah, I don't remember. I don't remember like actually formally like meeting you or anything.
no, we just started arguing in the same threads. I think.
Yeah.
Going back to what Diana was
Well,
saying, I too like to admit that sometimes I don't think about God enough as I should.
Amen.
yeah.
I'm fully guilty of that. Like it only dawns on me Sunday. Like, oh, hey, it's time to go to church.
Right.
Well, I'm not sure how much I said. I'm not sure how much I think about them throughout the day. But of course, I do have the verse of the day at the beginning, shortly after I wake up every morning. So that helps me.
Yeah, so you got no
I
excuse,
say
Rick.
that, and that is super true.
No excuse.
When I first became a Christian, I started doing a daily blog, and I think every Christian should do something like that because you'll be surprised at how much you will get involved with God.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Bravo, sir.
I think
Okay,
Terry was trying to say
well,
something a minute ago, but we couldn't hear him.
Oh, Terry, you want to go again?
No, the thing, what I was saying was, Rick has no excuse, but the rest of us can always think of one.
What were you saying, Rick?
I was just going to say, when I started the verse of the day, I've been serving God 38 years, so I figured I should know a thing or two. Maybe I can share my kernels with them. I don't know how good they are. Some people chat, some people put comments in, some people don't. I've had 3 or 4 people comment, say thank you for the verse of the day, and some others. And I say if anybody wants to, do comment on the verse of the day, for sure. I've actually thought of a couple months ago, maybe on a Saturday, getting together with a bunch of people and discussing all the verses of the day for the week.
Yeah.
Mm.
That might be good.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be down for that.
That'd be cool. I would like that.
Some Saturday afternoon, once a week, just go over, there's whatever I said, and then there's other people's point of view,
So
too,
do you get oh sorry.
Oh, I was done, Lorenzo.
Yeah, I have a hard time with this delay, and then I got a delay in my head hearing things, so due to my mind. Yeah, do you get a lot of people watching those? Was it the word of the day, or what's it called?
Verse of the day. It
Verse of the day,
varies.
sorry.
It varies. I've been putting them up on Rumble for about the last month or so, and they get a lot more views over there.
Huh.
Oh, that's interesting.
That is.
But no, there could be a more conservative audience over there.
Yeah, and the likes on it, they call them rumbles. I don't know how it happens. Sometimes I get like sometimes double the number of likes than people that actually watched.
It could be that that there's like not only is there maybe more conservatives who are due to all this recent censorship and a certain powerful leader being kicked off of Twitter and stuff, But then again, there also I don't know how much competition you have over there either. That very well could be a place where there's
for the competition.
Maybe that's the wrong word.
Well, no, it's the right word, for lack of a better way. But for the verse of the day, I've looked for verse of the day on YouTube, and as far as I can tell, there's nobody actually doing it every day on YouTube.
Yeah.
That's interesting because there's all these there's all these kind of like these pastors on there, and for some reason they all like wear baseball caps.
Yeah.
Did you remember that started like back in the 1990s where it was going to be like it's a hip pastor with a baseball cap and
they all.
And
have
then
that
now it's become almost like a uniform. Like
You mean the guy that tries too hard?
Well, I don't know. Maybe I think maybe this kind of fits a lot of these guys' personalities, though. So, but it's like it's just like it's become kind of like expected now, though. Unfortunately,
how fortunate for them.
Collars like the Catholic priests, and then they all
it's become like or like you go to a church and maybe the different like a process, some of the less liturgical Protestant churches where they like wear suits and ties. It's kind of become like a uniform.
Yeah.
I've noticed that, and it's like
I grew up going to a Lutheran church, and we had a Sunday school teacher that is like what I call a marathon prayer. She doesn't pray for 5 minutes; she prays for 15 minutes, and you're thinking about the donuts on the table over there. You'd rather be.
Yeah.
Will she just finish? Dear Lord, will she just finish up already?
Yeah, my mom attends a Lutheran church, and I'll occasionally, if I'm able to get out to church, and I haven't been feeling that well the past few years. I've been having some health issues, but I have, when I have been able to get out to church, and I typically go to her church instead of the Orthodox church, which has an even earlier service. But nowadays they like play the bongos in this particular. The minister plays the bongos or congas or something.
Oh, that's cool.
But it's I kind of miss the old school Lutheran.
You like the old
the liturgy,
music, yeah.
Because it's like I don't see that many people showing up.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not seeing like younger people really show up to hear the bongos.
Right. Oh, I see what you're saying.
Even though the guys seem pretty good at that, it's just like I don't know. I'm not
Yeah, you're like, what are you really doing here with that?
Yeah. I mean, and some people some churches have that sort of music, and it's really popular. But for some reason, it's just I don't know. I think a lot of other things happened at this church as well, where they've gone through a lot of changes over the years.
Well, we've done churches of all sorts of music, literally, and
Yep.
Yeah.
I do like the ones that are more up tempo, but I don't like how it can become a concert. Like
Right.
that's
I know
where
what
that's
you're
where
talking
the
about.
spirit lies for people.
I
Right.
actually really like. I did actually enjoy the the accordion at this Mexican service for the Virgin of Guadalupe. I mean, that
Yeah,
was
you just
Uh-huh.
need to calm
pretty
down there with
kick-ass
that
service
music.
with the accordion.
Yep, no, if that sounds too radical, you're gonna have to stop that.
I mean, that was like I was pleasantly surprised at like how reverently the accordion was played. But yeah, overall that that I don't know, that was actually for a holiday too, like a feast day.
Well, accordions aren't the worst instrument. It's just we
Well-
don't hear enough good players with them.
You don't hear about
Yeah,
them
I mean,
that
this is-
often.
Yeah, this
True.
is really good, like maybe like Tex-Mex style accordion.
Hey, accordion is better than an organ. At
Accordion.
least you
to
can make that lively. According to me.
who?
There you go. Well, the thing with the organ is that sometimes can be so loud that it can like blast out. I mean, it can just be like a little too overpowering.
Just
Now,
remember,
the
every time
Orthodox
you're
church
listening-
I went to that I belong to, but rarely am able to make it to. It's actually based out of town now.
Mhm.
It's they would sing things a cappella.
Wow.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It was just like really old school, even though I think organs are allowed in the Greek jurisdiction.
Well,
Greek
some
American.
churches don't allow instruments at all. I forget which ones, but
Yeah,
I've seen them before too. Yeah.
well, the Greek Orthodox traditionally were a cappella. So in this, I think in a way the bishop's more traditional, but he's also into the idea of having a multi-ethnic parish.
Hey, hey, Rick, your mom grew up Presbyterian.
Yeah, I knew that.
Yeah, but so did my grandma.
Oh, cool.
Huh.
Well,
Small world. I guess.
my grandfather grew up Presbyterian on her father, and her mom grew up United, I believe.
hmm That's cool, guys.
So Presbyterian, is that like the English speaking, like kind of like the British version of the Reformed churches, like Calvinist?
I don't think so, but
I don't know actually.
Because I know
Do you
that
know?
Presbyterian, I'm not positive where they're.
I thought it was similar to the Reformed churches, but it was in English speaking countries.
That wouldn't
I mean, and
surprise
now
me.
I mean, of course, we got like Dutch Reformed and all sorts of Reformed churches, even like Reformed Baptists, which I'm still trying to wrap my head around that. But
It's kind of funny because like I don't want to reform if I go through anything. I want to go back towards, you know what I mean? I want to go, like, I suppose they mean the same thing, but I want to restore. I don't want to reform.
oh,
I
there's
wanna-
also restorationists like churches like there's I don't think they necessarily like being called the Campbellites, which I probably shouldn't have even said the word, but like there's different denominations. Like I think they would typically call themselves like Church of God and similar type names.
right.
And they were into like the idea of restoring.
my mom
Sure.
says the Presbyterian came from Scotland, basically.
Ah,
Yeah, Calvin.
Yeah, I thought they were like the Scottish equivalent. to
Calvin
Savers.
was from Geneva.
Yeah, I thought they were like kind of like where you got where there's like the Dutch Reformed, and I think the Huguenots might have been Calvinists as well. But then there was
All those-
in Scotland there was Presbyterians.
all Protestant churches are basically just a backlash against the Catholic Church. That's pretty much all.
The Orthodox actually. Well, there's a couple kinds of Orthodox. There's Eastern Orthodox, and then there's Oriental Orthodox, which you try to translate that into a lot of other languages. The East and Orient mean the same thing, but in English they're two separate things, two separate churches.
Yeah.
But the Orthodox they didn't go along with purgatory, but
Yeah, that's a Catholic thing.
yeah, I think that's. I can't. But their big disagreement was over the Nicene Creed and whether the Holy Spirit proceeds from the Father or from the Father and Son. A lot of Orthodox will say that the Holy Spirit proceeds through the Father, which I don't.
Yeah, it's the whole.
I think it might just be arguing over the word, what the word proceed means.
It all boils down to doctrine, really. Everyone.
They might have been using the word like proceed and procession differently, because they.
Yeah, well,
Each different geographical regions.
Each denomination has a different focus on a different verse for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that I don't know. Like they've gotten together, but I think different theologians have gotten together, and I think they've even sorted this out. I mean. Though there's not good luck getting all the bishops to agree on. This.
Yeah, it's a whole thing.
I think that some of these separations had to do with different differences in linguistics, or people were speaking different languages, like Latin and Greek, and so something could mean one thing, in one language. So the Catholic Church still says the Holy in Greek that the Holy Spirit proceeds from the Father. It's just in Latin they say Father and Son.
Yeah, I can't imagine worrying about it this much. That's what cracks me up.
Yeah.
If I was the church father, I would have been like, "Yo, whatever, man. Yeah, if that's how you want to say it, that's fine."
Well, if Jesus actually talked about this stuff, then why did they immediately have to start having councils to even stuff whether or not to eat, with Gentiles who weren't circumcised, they had to have a council.
I think there's a lot of reasons that it was screwed up, and it all had to do with them being men.
I think I can't argue there. I can't argue there.
I think it's also what power you can hold over to. There was people that wanted power in the early church and all that.
Oh, yeah. There was a lot of politics involved, regional politics, and different church leaders, I think, wanted to, I think starting with, the Council of Nicaea on, there was, a lot of politics involved.
Well, there also, you have to consider that the Catholic Church didn't even want the Bible translated, and most average people didn't even know what the Bible said.
Right.
True.
They did actually have was it there was the original version of the Dewey Rhymes Bible, which used to be two separate Bibles, or is it Dewey Reams? I mean, before King James was published.
Okay,
well, if Tyndale was doing that,
it was
considered in English.
It was considered heresy to translate the Bible back in those days.
Chris, I don't think it's on your end, but my mom apparently said if she can't hear us, she can just hear some music or whatever. I think it's her computer. So
that's interesting.
I just thought I'd say just in case, but I think it's on her.
But I happen to agree with Chris on his it's a headache. It's a headache. All these different.
I can't even. Yeah.
Actually, if you want to see something good, it's more developing in the second season part of this. You can see the sort of these disagreements. There's a series out. First season's available completely on YouTube called The Chosen, and it basically is about Jesus and his ministry. Right near the start, and it's going to be 8 seasons long. It's really, really good.
Oh, interesting.
They're in the second season. They're almost done.
What's it called?
The Chosen.
The Chosen.
Yeah, it's a
Which
channel.
on? Which channel is it on?
It's called the channel's called The Chosen.
Oh,
The
okay.
channel called The
On
Chosen?
Yeah.
Is it an
Oh, okay.
internet show?
It's a
Is it
YouTube
what?
channel.
Yeah,
Is it a,
yeah. They have
Okay,
the full,
okay.
They have the full first season on there. They have half the second season, and then you've got to start watching. If you don't catch it when they air the next episode, you end up having to watch it through your phone. But you can put your phone onto your TV or whatever.
is
you
it a
know,
kind
if
of
you're not-
is it a kind of show that even like people who are not Christian can enjoy? So that they make it like more real. Like this is how they probably really were. Like
Yeah, yeah, they do take a little bit of artistic interpretation for various things. They try and build backstories for the characters, as much as they can, but in keeping with scripture.
Right.
Not that we're given a lot of detail.
So what's this about? Is this about the Gospels or?
Well, yeah, in a lot of ways, it's about the Gospels.
Huh.
I think everybody here would like it.
I'll check it out.
I definitely will think
Try to
about
remember
it.
to.
Like
I see-
in the first episode, you don't even see Jesus till like right near the end.
Oh, okay. So Jesus is in there. I thought maybe.
Yeah, it's good.
I didn't know by your answer if it was like just something like okay. I didn't know if like Jesus was in there or if it was like kind of like a more contemporary thing or
It's a bit
based on the
contemporary.
Gospels.
I'm not sure whether you have you guys heard of the Left Behind series.
Yep.
Yeah.
The son of one of the authors is like top dog on the thing.
Oh, okay. Huh.
So it's written really good and all that. Sometimes there's some things that you might say, I'm not sure if that's quite the way.
I couldn't imagine someone doing a very accurate version of the very end of time because that's a pretty big period on the end of a huge sentence.
Yeah. Well, you're talking about the Left Behind.
Yeah, I don't
know. That's a lot. That's open to a lot of interpretation based on.
Yeah.
People people have been debating that for
Ever.
a couple thousand years now.
Yeah, on different things that you find in the Bible of how it's going to pan out.
People will be at the pearly gates still debating it. Like, okay, I don't know.
Yeah. There's well, even the Book of Revelation or Apocalypse of John, I think is the Catholic.
The Revelation of John.
Yeah. I think the Catholics traditionally would call it the Apocalypse. Anyway, I think even that there was like some church fathers I'm not sure about this book, and
yeah.
I think the Assyrian Church of the East, I think they have it in their Bible now, but it took a long time for them to add that, and I think some other books.
Well, the first few chapters are nothing but letters to other churches telling them, okay, you're doing good, you're doing terrible. I don't know about you.
And I think some of it is based on earlier prophetic books, like in the Old Testament, too. So maybe that probably would help to understand it, I would imagine. Though people still argue over it.
There's a lot of symbolism in the Book of Revelation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of hard.
Other prophetic books.
There's a timeline with symbolism in there, I would say. But more for it, there's a lot of interpretation needed to do. Just with the guys that wrote that series, like 20 years ago, it's, if you were to rewrite that series, it would have changed so much just with things that are going on.
There was an interesting documentary where they were kind of contemplating what is the Antichrist. Is the Antichrist a person or is it an entity? No,
it would have to be. I would say it would have to be a person. But it's like
most people.
And before that, the best series was a movie series called Thief in the Night.
That's
That's true.
I think it wasn't one of Kirk Cameron's.
No,
you know.
no, 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 no,
No,
no.
no insult to Kirk Cameron as an actor, but I've what I've the clips I've seen from some of the Christian movies he's done have been kind of
Probably the best
I don't
one
think they
Christian
were
movie.
necessarily-
Probably
Go
the
ahead.
best Christian movie he's been in. It was Fireproof. The Left Behind movie series. I wouldn't give you time a day for the ones that he's in. Not that he's not a good actor or whatever.
Oh,
but
so he was in there as well.
they're just so far. They're so far from the books that it's not funny. But I'm not sure whether.
Strong as the script too. Typically, unless
Yeah.
unless they just completely rewrite everything themselves or something. And
But
don't know.
are we getting too off topic for Chris and Diane? It's my question.
No, it's
We're keeping it in the ballpark.
Yeah.
End
You
times
are.
oriented.
I just want to make sure we're not taking over their show.
It's fine. I'm actually looking at the time because I have to get up early in the morning. I'm watching Chris's face.
Why? What time is it?
It's 9:45.
Oh,
See, Chris, that's what happens when you start half an hour later.
That's what
Yeah.
happens when you invite me. I get everyone off topic.
No,
no.
it's
I thought I was getting everybody off topic. So is it Chosen, or is that what it's called?
Yeah,
Is that like similar to Left Behind, or is it totally different?
No. It's totally different. I was just using Left Behind as a reference to, I think it's now Dallas Jenkins. He's Jerry Bean Jenkins' son. So I was just trying to create a connection there, for.
If it's
So is
about
this
the
like,
apostles, I'd be fascinated in that.
Is this
Yeah,
around like year 30, in Galilee, or is this like Jesus hanging out at the malt shop or whatever?
No. It is set in ancient Israel when Jesus was alive. Back
Oh,
then.
okay. So it's not like trying like some contemporary thing where
No.
because that would be kind of weird.
they've done stuff like that before.
I'll send you a link to the first episode, Lorenzo, or if you want to.
Okay, yeah. For some reason I was just picturing Jesus in contemporary times and like.
Yeah. And if you,
I'm
I can send you.
looking at it right now, yeah.
Just trying to figure out where he fit in.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
a lot of stuff on his channel. You might have to type in the Chosen episode 1 to get the actual episode.
If you just type in, if you go to YouTube, I just did it right now, and just type in Chosen, it brings you right up to The Chosen, which is the show that you are talking about.
Yeah.
I see trailers, but I don't see episodes.
Chosen, yeah. It's this Chosen season 2 official, the finale. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, the first season was over a year ago. They're just in the almost at the end of season 2. There's only like 8 episodes per season.
Okay, here's
Okay.
Oh, okay. That's
Oh, cool. I'll have to check it out. That looks pretty interesting.
when the Greatest American Hero first debuted, and an excellent season, and I think it was only like 8 episodes.
Mhm.
And I think the BBC was like that with some of the British shows are like that, where they'll have like real short seasons, or they'll call it a series. But sometimes I think you can get better quality than if you've got like 22 episodes and a bunch of filler.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
So
Okay,
that'd be worth
guys,
checking out.
we got to get going because I got to get up for work in the morning too. But I do appreciate y'all coming, and I look forward to screaming about God next week too.
Hey, I still feel good about keeping it within the ballpark there. Kept it,
Amen, brother.
all the topics were all about God, so
They're close.
1 out of 2
We
ain't
got it
bad.
But so we. Oh God, I'm so tired. We stream again Wednesday night at 8:00. Oh no, at 8:30.
8:30.
And then-
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Lorenzo has a show
I hope I can be able
Yeah.
to do that. Every time I eat, I've been feeling kind of sick now.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear
But
that.
it's just
Well,
I'm feeling
well,
better than I was on Thursday, though.
well, I
But
am on tomorrow night at 7 p.m.
There we
Eastern.
go.
oh, excellent. On
It will be
YouTube.
Tuesday night.
Excuse me. What time does the daily verse start?
I try and get it out in the morning.
Good night,
Depends on
Terry.
Depends on when I
Have a
get
good
up
night.
and all that. Usually it's out before noon. Usually before 11, depending on how
So
Well,
my show's
late I stayed up.
So my
Oh my
show's
gosh,
8
Christopher.
Eastern on YouTube, but don't you have a show on Odyssey on
Yeah,
Thursday?
well, yeah, that's on Thursday, which I could announce on
Yeah, what time
Wednesday,
is that
7 o'clock Eastern.
at? Okay, so mine starts an hour later. Obviously, you can go and you check out Rick's show once that's over. If you want, you can head over to my channel, Lorenzo Sleep
We're
Stack
like
channel.
NBC,
I just call
there's
the
a
show the
whole-
Sleep Stackians
There's a
typically.
whole must-watch TV on Thursday nights.
Yeah. I think that's how. Isn't that how that used to be with like? Oh gosh, I hate to say that the Cosby Show. I hate mentioning.
Yeah.
And then like the Family Ties
Yep.
it was on
Must-watch
NBC, I
TV.
believe, when I was a
Must
kid.
no must see TV was like Seinfeld, Friends.
Well,
Wasn't
yeah, I don't know if
Cosby?
they were. Yeah, I don't know if they marketed it as must see TV, but it started out. Wasn't that all NBC though? And I think it started out with like there were some more. Cheers
Yes,
was on
Yeah,
too,
Yes.
wasn't
I
it?
just don't know what their slogan was at that time.
Yeah, Cheers was on the same channel, I believe. I think this was all
Yeah.
NBC. That was like a pretty solid channel back in the day, and now they just say Orange Man bad, even though he's no longer president. No, I don't know. What do they have? Got Jimmy Kimball or something? Maybe. I think he's
some people
okay. I
think he
guess.
is the president still. I don't
know. I'm usually in bed by 10, so I don't like.
Oh
I don't
yeah,
watch
yeah.
a
You
lot
guys
of-
got to get going.
All right, yeah, guys. So we'll
Listen,
talk.
Good
We'll
night,
talk again
everybody.
soon. Rick, we'll try to catch you tomorrow night.
Okay.
Yes.
Well,
Yeah, I'll try to tune
one
in.
more up here. I want to talk to you a quick second. Chris.
Peace.
Take care.